We also continue to follow developing news on the nationwide protests. Last night, crowds in New York City and Washington broke curfews to continue their call for justice in the killing of George Floyd. Police blocked crowds on the Manhattan Bridge for about an hour before protesters headed back to Brooklyn, but things were peaceful. And then in Washington, you just saw some fireworks there. Those were taking place, as well as some water bottles being thrown around. And this was right outside of the White House. Back in Minnesota, where Floyd was killed, the state is launching a civil rights investigation into the Minneapolis Police Department. The focus now shifts to Connecticut, with many wondering what's being done here to protect peaceful demonstrators and communities. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Eva Zamaris joins us live from the State Armory in Hartford. Eva, what is the state doing to ensure everyone's safety?
Good morning to you, Nicole. The key is monitoring the situation closely, and Governor Ned Lamont says they will adjust as needed. But he feels that local and state police are doing a good job working closely with demonstrators. Demonstrations are expected to continue across the country today. People in communities everywhere are banding together in the name of George Floyd, who was recently killed at the hands of a now former Minneapolis police officer. While many of these demonstrations here in the U.S. have remained peaceful, some have turned violent and destructive. In Connecticut, we've learned from local law enforcement they're working to ensure everyone's safety by utilizing technology and engaging with the community. They're also looking to identify people who might be coming from out of state just to cause harm.
Many people are crossing state borders to come into specific jurisdictions to cause the looting and to engage in violence.
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump appears to be backing off his threat to deploy troops to states in order to quell protests. Yesterday, Governor Lamont revealed the president called on Connecticut to send some of our guardsmen and women down to D.C.
I think we have responded right now that our guard is very busy doing the COVID-related work I mentioned earlier, on standby as needed as we think about what's happening here in the state.
As I mentioned, demonstrations are expected to continue all across the country today, and here this morning, here in Connecticut, a funeral procession will be held with an empty casket and hearse to remember those who lost their lives tragically at the hands of police. Now, we do have more information about that right on our Channel 3 app. Live in Hartford this morning, I'm Eva Zamaris, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.